how well you form as a team, how much synergy you have, how well you can execute on your plan, and as well as adapting to the situation is such a big part of it. Something that we're going through ourselves.
Yeah, it is definitely a fun process, but we're going to be seeing some pretty similar ideas and comps here. We got on the Taiko Temple, rather. Got the Atlas and Mako goalies. Pretty classic, staple in the last meta. Still a staple right now. We'll see if that changes, but for now, we're staying the same. Got a Julia and an X, the OG Brawlers, and then the Juno versus the Era. And a pretty old matchup, actually. I feel like I haven't seen Juno versus Era in a long time, but that used to be like a pretty common old one.
Yeah, Arrow is way less popular these days, although not bad at all. I think just a little bit overshadowed by some of the other midfielders like now Rune, Amy. But starting off really quickly, Juno putting in the work, getting a kill with that primary, now going into a power play here. Nicki Minilin still level 1, doesn't have that X Maximus to go in, tries to pop it. Oh, it doesn't pop it yet, but they got the barrier, and now this power play is leading to an early point for Handless Dogs.
Yeah, the thing actually about the Handless Dogs comp, rather, is that X obviously has a lot of knockback, has a lot of power, has a lot of KO potential, but Juno, I think it was talked about before on the cast, especially with this Siege Machine that's giving you a little bit more range and damage on the creations. Ooh. You're going to find a lot of KOs with all the space, and the Slime plus the X combo there is going to find another KO onto Sorcerer Supreme, so Handless Dogs off to a pretty good start. Now X in the corner here, trying to get both. Gets the second barrier here, looking for the KO on Syrupy. Finds it, now has the flip in the corner. Can they take it? They don't even need it, and they put it right in that top side. It looks like Handless Dogs are trying to steamroll their way through this one.
Yeah, didn't even need to pop the energy burst at all. That spec training going the super value for Nicki Minilin already. Being able to get the KO in the net. You can already see the Julie is still level 1 at this moment. Can't have access to their awakening. They have no spec training value at this moment. Misses the dash punch, and now it's going to have to go on cooldown for quite some time. And we're seeing the Juno that you mentioned before just put in so much work, keeping the core control and the damage in this matchup is doing phenomenal. And they're just putting on so much pressure between the core control and the damage from the two forwards. And if it ever comes back over to their side, Atlas is probably going to be doing the most damage out of all of them.
Yeah, Atlas. I'm pretty sure we'll be getting nerfed next patch in terms of the damage. Not the leak, but we'll see how that ends up panning out. Definitely does a lot of damage right now as both barriers are gone for the Handless Dogs. It seems like the Eboy Entourage have finally found a little bit of momentum, but the flips and the energy on the side of Handless Dogs is heavily in favor of them, and they do have the core in the corner here with the Slimes coming down, but no, it's going to be a good clear from Sorcerer Supreme and Syrupy to get it out for now. IDK trying to defend as much as possible, but Flambeau finds a little juke with that strike. Now the flip from Nicki Minilin going to be popping right in the middle, not going to be finding much, but Weston sitting pretty in his own goal is not going to care. It's only a matter of time, he thinks, before he might need that flip, before he is going to need to called into action. Nicki Minilin trying to KO Syrupy on the corner, manages to survive with just a sliver, but not in the same page there as their goalie. IDK and Syrupy, miscommunication, let open that topside goal, and now the first set goes over to Handless Dogs, who, by the way, Mystic, are the 3rd seed, and Eboy Entourage somehow sneaked their way in here at the 22nd seed, so kind of what we would expect based on the seedings on how this game should be going for, but rather.
Yeah, let's see if E-Boys can come back up with some more awakenings if it favors them, but the team that Handless Dogs have drafted are definitely going to benefit from the draft here. We got the Manu going over, which I'm honestly surprised. I would not personally take the Manu here on the Juno. Maybe they want to focus more on the damage there, but just having the Siege Machine feels like enough damage on the Juno itself. I personally would have chosen the Deadeye, but looking at everything else, X getting size is always amazing. Reverb going on to Weston on the Atlas there, denying both of the stagger awakenings from the enemy team to ensure that they'll still get KOs while also simultaneously adding value in size through Big Fish, and then the reverberation giving CDR, which is essentially just more damage at the end of the day. So taking a look at everything that we have here, it's a pretty standard draft. Not sure if Sorcerer Supreme is gonna be able to recover though from how they performed, or their lack of awakening so far, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not bad awakenings on Julie, but nothing that's going to help change the game for you. But I feel like everything on the side of Handless Dogs is going to be making their game a lot easier. Is going to be making their game just that much harder to play against for the Eboy Entourage as Nicki Minolin gets both barriers and actually right around on the other side. Weston losing both barriers as well. Nicki Minolin now with the flip, putting out so much damage. Not going to be able to score with it, though. Still keeping offensive pressure. The good part about the Juno is that you can just keep that core control, like you said earlier, while also having so much damage and a great pass as well, winning 2 strike wars or something there, threading it through the needle to Nicki Minolin, who finds it in the top side. As they're happy about that one too. Great pass into the high 5. I mean, Eboy Entourage, I don't know what they're gonna do here.
Yeah, they seem to be having trouble getting the ball up and then just executing on it, right? We can see how the Juliet is moving around. Has not succeeded in any dash punch KOs. We saw them use the ultimate ability, and it did not really lead into a KO as well. And when Julie isn't having that sort of pressure, you kind of just stop respecting it as the enemy team, right? If you're not at a threat of being KO'd, then you start hugging the walls more, you start playing as if the Julie doesn't exist, and then the Julie starts really losing that value. And that's something that a lot of the top brawlers are able to get off, is not only their execution on the Juliet, but it is the pressure that changes how the other players end up walking around the map. So let's see if Eboy can come up, but right now it is Handless Dogs putting on the barrage over and over again, whether it's Nicki Minolin finding the kills or just Flambeau just sending in these blobs over and over again that are getting insane value.
Insane value as we see it right there. The barrier going down to the Juno Slime, and now on the power play, just going to be ending, but they have core control. They have both barriers. They have everything they need to get this last point. Just need to get the core forward. First step, Flambeau has the opening, but cannot find it. But no, finds the Slime instead. IDK just lost track of the core, could not get a touch on it in time. And Mr. Flambeau puts it in right through the bottom side there. And I mean, if you're Eboy Entourage here, like you were saying earlier, you need to find a way to unlock this Juliet, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think the Era is doing a decent enough job here. If they manage to get some more speed, maybe a chrono boost or something along those lines, maybe another spark, they might be able to pop off. Era doesn't have that same pushing power as the core control power that the Juno does, but if you can get that Maelstrom in the right spot, hug it along the walls, and then have the core in front of it and just send it forward, you can usually end up with a barrier or a KO. So maybe we have to work through the Era a little bit here, but they are not allowing any opportunities from Handless Dogs. It is just constantly ball possession is with them. They are keeping it on the enemy side, and whenever they make it over there for a play, it's either a KO or a barrier or a goal that's being taken. Oh my god, but there it is, finally! Let's go, Juliet!
Juliet finally getting that KO, but Nicki Minolin doing wonders right now. 1v3 in this corner, just stalling the entire time of Juno's death animation here, and there you go. Power play is over. Great job from the X to just keep it going for now as Weston finally loses a barrier here. The Juliet's starting to do a bit better, finding these corner plays, finding something here with that dash punch as well. But it feels like this Mako and this Era just can't keep it forward very well comparatively to Handless Dogs, who, you know, I mean, it makes sense, though, if you think about it. I feel like the Atlas is kind of a goalie that specializes it in just kind of getting it away from you on the first touch, right? But Juliet, great job of keeping it with them, and a great strike war win on the bottom side, getting it right through everybody onto the bottom side there. I mean, Sorcerer Supreme trying to carry this game.
The 1v3 getting their first point here after 5 losses in a row definitely is going to be a motivation booster. Let's see if they can keep up the pressure. They don't actually have energy burst, and that might have, oh my goodness, I was not expecting that. An absolute decimation for Eboy. Both forwards are gone, and now it's IDK actually with a phenomenal strike there to keep the core up. Might have enough time. The Juliet comes back up. They lose 1 barrier during that entire double power play, so not horrible, but what an insane way to go out for both brawlers. Spawned already and back down to essentially 25% stagger is Sorcerer Supreme hanging out there, taken out of the play, making Nicki Minolin getting the core, popping the energy burst, and then just sending it right through. So what a power play into goal execution there.
Yeah, I mean, double power play into both barriers, into basically almost another power play again. The X is completely unlocked with this spec and this big fish, and then now they have the access to maybe even more size. Yep, they're going to go with that build different. Juliet finally getting some size of their own to make the Mighty Colossus not completely useless. But I feel like this draft is just so incredibly hard because, yeah, the Era gets a second spark. Yeah, the Mako might get extra special or glass cannon here, but the Juno with prime time, with the double slime trainings as well, and the X just completely unlocked with size. I feel like it's just gotten even worse, and we're gonna have to see maybe a miracle for Eboy Entourage to pull this one through.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see the X pop, the X Maximus, because one of the issues that X ends up having is sometimes when you just smack someone with your ult, they just go too far and you can't chase them. But with all this size, you're not getting away from X ever. So I will say though, Eboy starting off relatively strong here, even though the KO happened, it was a what is that, recovery drone KO. So Sorcerer Supreme did not actually get taken out of the play, although they do lose that effect for the whole set. They have the goal open, and they might be able to get the KO there using the redirect after the dash is sent it up to the top, and not reacting fast enough on that strike shot means that the first point of this set goes over to E-Boys.
I mean, Sorcerer Supreme, especially last set and then now this set with that goal, has been finding some options here and definitely a little bit of momentum for their team. But I feel like, as we're seeing right now, the overall momentum is just completely in the favor of Handless Dogs. As long as they keep control of the core for just a little bit, they have the damage, they have the space, they have everything really to do what they want with the core. That was a great tornado, but it's actually not going to matter. I think a missed strike there for Syrupy ends up putting it through on the top side, and a little bit of a mistake gonna tie this one up at 1-1.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was actually going to compliment that era NATO as well. But now going into this point, let's see if they can continue what is oh my goodness. They had a little bit going forward. The dash punch whiffs, and the spin from X, the bell ringer, is there to take the life away. No recovery drone available after that first point here, and the simple strike is all they need with these bounces, sending it perfectly right into the net. And what a quick second point, 15 seconds on the clock there, as we could be in the final point of this whole BO1.
Yeah, BO1 point here for the Handless Dogs. Let's see if they can, I guess, finish it off here. They have a lot of energy. They have the momentum pretty much this entire game. Forced to use the flip there is the X, though, but forces out the flip in return for the Ares. A little bit of an even trade, getting healed up by the Atlas as well. No barriers taken just quite yet, but the Juliet is looking incredibly low, and they might go down at any moment. The X kind of waiting for cooldowns, I can tell, is hunting for it. We'll have to see if a KO comes through here. Not going to be too much as the bell ringer does not go through. But Mr. Flambeau actually getting both barriers here. And now IDK is in trouble. Eboy Entourage need to do something. They're getting ran down, walked down slowly. Weston using the flip, but not really going to be getting anything from it. The X almost finding that KO on the bottom side on Julie, but a great save as well from Mako to keep that out for now. The Handless Dogs slowed down, but they still have a barrier. They still basically have possession of the core here. And now Mako needs to put in work on this defense. Syrupy, no, a missed strike on the middle is just going to be putting it slightly too far down, and IDK is just not there in time. The Handless Dogs are going to be taking this first quarterfinal in the top 16 pretty handily.
Yeah, and that means that they'll be going over to semifinals, which is a match that can determine if they'll be in Liftoff or not. Their opponents of this next game will be Heavy Metal Gundam, who have just taken down Tokyo Blade in their previous quarterfinal match. So that was the match that was happening while we were playing this one out. So Heavy Metal Gundam consists of Zay Forever, Hungry Boy, Tragic, and Drew potentially as the emergency sub there. So that is the first semifinal map that is ready. I just need confirmation if that is the match that we will be covering next, or if there is another match.
I believe we're going Wochill's Dynasty Party. Yeah, we're going to Wochill's Dynasty Party, the other quarterfinal match on the opposite side. Semifinals are going to have to wait a little bit, everybody, and I think the team should be ready, but I'm not sure. We might be going to a little quick break here just for everyone to catch their breath as the teams kind of figure out their maps, figure out their picks, and for us to get into the lobby as well. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere for this next match.